I've been keeping all the letters that I wrote to you. And that little I've been at the beginning of the phrase is really sort of endearing. It draws you into what he's doing. Hi, my name's David Coombs. We're in Stratford Circus in East London at the moment. And what I'd like to talk to you today about is a number of vocal effects that occur in commercial music. The first that I'd like to talk to you about is called Creak. The Americans tend to refer to it as vocal fry, and other practitioners might call it slack. It's an area of the voice which feels as if it's below your singing voice. So if you can naturally sing down in your chest voice to a particular note, you'll probably find that vocal fry starts to kick in towards the bottom if you haven't given enough support, or it will actually feel below your chest voice. It's a little bit interesting as far as being a vocal effect is concerned, because not only is it a vocal effect, but it's in its own way a register, because once you've practiced it, you can slacken off your vocal cords and sing in that register. Some people even speak in that register. And I'm often asked, because of the nature of the sound, whether it's dangerous, because it does sound like a creaking door, and by calling it vocal fry, it feels like you are actually frying the vocal cords, but it is perfectly safe. And a number of voice practitioners would recommend that you use it as a cool down at the end of a particularly intense vocal session. There are a number of genres where it appears. Predominantly, it would be in a genre that needs some kind of heightened emotion. So as an example, the two singers that I think are closely associated with vocal fry for the girls out there would be Britney. And I think if you talk to any singer about vocal fry, the first person that they will probably mention is Britney Spears. And you get it in, oh baby, baby. It's the oh underneath the note. It can be overused. But as an effect for heightening an emotion, it can be really useful. Another example for the guys out there would be Enrique Iglesias. And if you think of, I could be your hero, baby, he actually brings the note in on Creak, probably a semiquaver, an eighth note before he actually sings. So if you think, I, 2, 3, 4, 1, I could, he sings 2, 3, 4, 1. I could be your hero, baby. And that underneath the note gives a deeper emotion to what he's singing. Because it's difficult to do it loud, it's one of those vocal effects that brings a sense of intimacy. So if you want to find vocal fry, if you want to find Creak, one of the things that you need to be aware of is how the vocal cords work. A lot of people think of the vocal cords as being rubber bands, and to a certain extent, that's quite a useful way of thinking of them. So with vocal fry, or with Creak, you think of the vocal cords as completely slackening off. So they're at their shortest and their fattest, which means that if you put any real air pressure over them, you won't get any sound at all. So a way into it is humming on a descending scale. Because by humming and keeping everything closed, you can't really put too much air pressure into your sound. So if you want to get into a vocal fry, think of going, and at the bottom, drop down and feel almost as if you're unhooking your vocal cords and really backpedaling with the air pressure, and you'll get and when you get the sound at the very bottom, that's your vocal fry. So you can then take that into a unhummed sound on an easy vowel. So you'd get E. And that sound at the very bottom, which you can't make at any real volume, is vocal fry. Once you found it, just enjoy it and play around with it. So you get E. It's an interesting sound. It's usually used at the beginning of a phrase. Sometimes it's used at the end of the phrase as you fall off a note. Other examples where it's used to a slightly lesser degree than Enrique or Britney would be someone like Michael Bublé uses it in Home. As he goes into the pre-chorus, you get, I've been keeping all the letters that I wrote to you. And that little I've been at the beginning of the phrase is really sort of endearing. It draws you into what he's doing. Emily Sandé also uses it in Clown. I'll be your clown. And then as she flips up into the higher note, it's another effect that sort of draws you in as a listener. It's very easy to overuse it. It's a perfectly safe vocal effect unless it becomes your default setting and you find you can't get out of it. So it's something that I would really advise that you work with a vocal coach or a singing teacher, but it's certainly something you should have in your repertoire.